Yeah, it looks like they're still in game. All 5 attempts for the side of Rgisoseles. I say that Sacrifice finally played Cebolinha, Skunch, and Kinu down already. So a 4v3 it seems with Mashuk incredibly low.
Yeah, let's take a look. So Kinu first attempt him down for Rgisoseles. It looked like Cebolinha, Kinu, and Skunch already down. So let's see who has a bit of the advantage. Oh, I didn't get to see the scoreboard just yet, but let me pull it up. Alright, so Rgisoseles, oh, why can't I pull it? Okay, so Rgisoseles has the 2-rock effective into Riken, neutral damage into Koij, and then a Volrun Calibus for the Saku. On paper, it seems like Rgisoseles has the answers needed. It's a +2 speed 2-rock as well, so able to outspeed pretty much everything on Cebo's team. And that Volrun alone being +5 special defense, if you're able to kill the other physical attackers like Koij and Riken, I think Volrun should easily have a good time against Saku. But a bit easier said than done. This is gonna be a +4 defense Saku.
Absolutely tough cookie to crack, but the cookie will crumble if it is left by itself. The Riken now going to be exposed next turn. The Noxious Bomb as well thrown down does 15%. Is actually enough to punch through the Lifeful Sap, so don't sleep on that as well. Stone Ball and Rock Ball available, and this Riken doesn't feel very safe.
Yeah, so Koij falls. Final 2 Temptums for Cebo. We don't know if Rgisoseles is up a game or if Cebo is up a game, but we'll find out after. But yeah, as it stands, so 2-rock still being tanky boy he is with that +1/+1 and the speed. It should have an easy time. Riken is +2 defense, most likely thanks to a bark shield from Saku, most likely. That's the only thing I can think of. I don't think there's such thing as a shy shield Riken.
Fortunately not. I don't think so, at least. Quetzaleno trading Volrun takes a bit of damage with a +2 defense, bearing fruit there. Stone Ball doing considerable amounts of damage. Not exactly 50% actually, so good news though. Riken should survive another hit, but that's not really good news, especially with still 4 Tems available for Rgisoseles. The Calibus has yet to hit the board, neither has the Mashuk, so the Volrun gonna do significant damage here still, potentially.
Yeah, one more set of attacks like that will bring it down, but Quetzalone doing big damage, but a Stone Ball I think will end Riken stay on the board, and yes it does so. Saku, as we're getting used to these days, Saku versus the world, a 1v4 situation. Unfortunately, Saku running a bit out of stamina here.
Yeah, unfortunately so. You can regenerate all you want, but if your offensive capability is limited to every 2 to 3 turns, you're going to have to Lifeful Sap in between those, and Rgisoseles, fortunately, is also out of stamina. That's good news, but there's still so many Tems available, and the Mashuk actually comes in here, perhaps gonna try Rawrzyyy, and Rgisoseles swapping in Calibus and the Mashuk. Maybe just trying to expend them ASAP, just to force pressure out on the Saku, make that stamina, make him waste stamina, perhaps.
Yeah, it makes some sense. I mean, Saku gonna be big damage into Calibus, man. Maybe Calibus is just there trying to chunk it down just a bit, but man, is there a way? I mean, Saku effective into Mashuk, effective into Calibus is gonna have a really hard time against Volrun, but Volrun already in the orange, so potentially some kind of way. And there we go, Mashuk does fall down, so one more Tem down. Can Saku do the impossible? 94 to just 80. That's only 14% from the base toxic tick, or the base attack.
Defense +3 now though, however. -1 defense
Very
is
true.
is actually ginormous in this sense. The Saku taking a little bit more now on top of the brunt force. The Volrant comes back in, and it has not been revealed that it has any tornadoes or windbursts like that. Otherwise, it would save another turn to go all out for the said attack. But now with a Toxic Tick, sort of nullifying this heal a little bit more, and that's the concerning part really, is that the Calibus can essentially negate what the regeneration is providing.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it is at +2 defense. We'll see how much this Noxious Bomb does. So 78. Okay, so about 15% I want to say onto the thing. So 15%, we'll keep that in mind. Hey, knocks off the Lifeful
removing
Sap.
regeneration! Oh, incredibly smart play actually. Water Jet forcing the Lifeful Sap off, so the Toxic Tick did full damage, and Lifeful Sap is forced this turn. Surely, unless the Saku is going to go in here, cold cut. The Toxic Ink takes more damage, Lifeful Sap forced, and a Toxic Ink should be thrown down. But now you have to think about that. Now you have to focus the Calibus, because another Water Jet should just repeat history, and that should be it for the Saku.
Yeah, and Rawrzyyy online the next turn, but Ice Stalactite still adds those ticks of freeze. So if Calibus does have that Ice Stalactite, it's gonna work exactly the same. But you know what? It doesn't even need it. One Noxious Bomb was doing 15%, so the final Noxious Bomb from this Volrant should end things for Cebo. I don't know if it's 2-0, but Rgisoseles does go up a game. Because Saku pretty slow. We've been seeing Volrant go first his entire time, and we did know it was 15%, unless it was 14 point something, but I'm pretty sure it was in the 15s. So no matter what, with the Ice Stalactite removing the Lifeful Sap, I think just the base Noxious Bomb should be enough. Let's see it here. Noxious Bomb for the win. And yes, it is. So GG, Rgisoseles going up a game. I'm not too sure if that's a full set, but potentially the full set. We'll have to ask around.
Interesting team Sebo is running hyper aggressive with a Saku kicker to protect against those toxic teams. Although with only one win, Tim, I wouldn't say it's much of a kicker, more so a band bait, so to speak.
So yeah, the ban does go to the Wolfie. I guess Wolfie a bit too threatening to the overall team, such as Two Rocks, such as Naga, so understandable. We haven't seen a Drak Cash come out in quite some time, so I would be curious to see. I mean, not the most effective, or honestly not really effective at all into Rgisoseles team, so we might not see it. But alright, what we do see is the Salad Wonder. Not too much the whole package, but Saku getting buffed up by Kinu is a dangerous combination. So let's see, Sebo starting off pretty good, but Rgisoseles starting off good for himself too. Volrant strong against both of these nature Tems, and Naga is just strong overall neutral damage, especially if you're able to get off a madness buff here. And I think Rgisoseles was just asserting or making sure that you pick up a mental, because there's a lot of neutral Tems in that backline. Scunch is still rocking here, Moonflink is still rocking, and interesting enough, I was thinking Drakash didn't really do too much against Rgisoseles team, but it does get the ban there. Try to help me think, Blue. What could be the Drakash ban about? I didn't think it had too much business on the board.
Well, technically speaking, if you look at RG's team, what deals with the Drakash? Well, it's only the Mashuk and the Naga, right? And so, for the most part, I don't think RG really wanted to be in a position where Drakash could potentially just roam free against all of his other Temtem. I agree with you there. I think a Saku ban would have been much better than just pick up the Mashuk there. But perhaps didn't want the synergy with the Raiken. Hellfire, of course. Very good damage, and the burn effect could be something for the most part. So perhaps that is the main reason why Mofang picked up into the Naga, and Barnchi is going to struggle a little bit here.
And Blue, I hear your brothers and sisters. I hope they're having a good time. It sounds like they're having fun. But yeah, so Quetzaleno and Move Flank gets picked up for Sebo. Rgisoseles, I didn't get to see the last one. Oh, it was Kinu. It was Kinu. It was Kinu coming out to play. Alright, so as we said, really impactful opening turn. The Kinu just buffing up Saku really strong. But let's see how much this Saku does, because it doesn't really do a whole lot against both of these guys.
Naga and Volerant into a Saku and Kinu. It's going to struggle a little bit for the most part. I think the Naga might get punished here at least, or maybe not. Viking gonna be swapped in here. Maybe anticipating a double swap as well. No, Toxic Spore is gonna go down though. So this Madness buff theoretically should be free. Oh, it goes Beta Burst actually.
Yeah, so no Madness buff. Interesting enough, the Noxious Bomb does a fair amount of damage. But the Toxic Tick, not too shabby, does get a good 32% damage after it's all said and done. But interesting decision for Sebo. Did he think Nagaz was gonna swap? Because Raiken coming in here, maybe thinking of a different swap there. Because Arja's Nagai's Fury online. Imagine if that was a Madness buff that turn. That Nagai's Fury most likely would one-shot this Raiken or be really close to one-shotting it. So I think he was just thinking physical damage for the Volerant or a good debate and switch as we're seeing here. So Kinu, another one.
Yeah, DJ Khaled would say another one. Right now, Saku +2/+2, just trying to get it set up. Lifeful Sap as well to defend it. If the name of the game is this Saku being stabilized, he is getting there. The damage is just not being as efficient anymore. And look at that, Toxic Plume did barely any damage.
Yeah, so Saku, I mean, the damage is going little by little. Saku find themselves around 36%. So another barrage, something like a Beta Burst Noxious Bomb, I believe should be enough. I know Saku is now at +2/+2. So I don't know, it might get close, but I think it will be there. And Saku doesn't really have all that effective damage. Kinu doesn't have that much effective damage. I think all the pressure is just coming out from Argis. Of course, Windburst, Tornado, they do something, but nothing too crazy, especially into the Volerant right now being at +2 special defense. Can eat those for days.
The bigger thing here that is a little bit concerning is the fact that, you know, RG could have just managed buff on the first turn and the damage output would be significantly greater moving forward. So, a bit unfortunate there. But of course, this Saku getting quite close. I just don't think there's any closure damage. The Bark Shield as well, going to make sure there is no lethal damage available, especially if the Kinu will Stonewall to follow thereafter. Naga Fury will do half damage here, so it does very little in exchange for quite a big OX, I would say. Noxious Bomb thrown down as well, gets it below 15%, but the regeneration should be there. And Revitalize to follow. I think RG is being a little bit ambitious with that Fury, or maybe anticipating a double swap, but the Saku is fine.
Yeah, I believe that the trick there, he thought it was going to be a little rinse and repeat from that first opening. He thought Kinu was going in the back to come out the following turn, so he was thinking Raiken potentially there. And yeah, OX on the Nagai, so can't be doing anything. And Volerant getting close. And this is the tricky part about facing off against this tanky Saku, especially enabled by this Kinu. You did all that damage, or just literally click buttons every single turn into Saku. Saku could literally retreat this turn and he'll be back up to 99%. Absolutely mad lad of the Saku. And it's frustrating. Now at +4 defense, this Saku is looking quite problematic, but we'll see if Argis is able to bring things back. But it's tough. It's definitely tough. That Revitalize bringing it back up so much. But let's see. You know what's helping it out too? This is some nice tech we don't see too often. Usually we see the hand fan on the Saku, but Sebo going more defensive, likes that Tukma mask. And you know, toxic techniques are relatively the only thing that's super effective. Of course fire is too, but Tukma mask very, very good at keeping those noxious bombs from really doing damage to him.
Absolutely, the Saku. Again, you gotta wonder if RG's a little bit kicking himself for not madness buffing earlier, would be significantly stronger and be able to shred through that special defense buff of only +2. I mean, the defense is high, sure, but the special defense isn't quite there. +2 special attack would have definitely helped. But unfortunately, a bit of a struggle bus now.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. I mean, to your point, if he did manage with earlier, maybe he would have stayed alive a bit more, but literally from this position would be dead since it's 30%. But of course that special defense increase would have helped him out a bit. But here it goes, Rgisoseles making some adjustments, Grandpa coming out, so Toxic Spores going on to the Kinu, so a net 32%, but another one, this side salad, DJ salad, however you want to call it, is getting out of hand.
Another one!
Yeah,
Triple
another.
choreography thrown down. So, just trying to set up here. I think the main plan is to kill everything and then the Saku, maybe a little bit late. But still, the chance is there. If you kill off the Kinu, kill off the Raik, and kill off the Moflai, kill off the Koish, which is sounds like a big tall order. But if it does occur, then we can get that isolated Saku once again. And and as we've seen, only Wind Burst is on this Saku, so an isolated Saku doesn't sound too bad to deal with.
Exactly right. I mean, he doesn't have any water Temtems for that Raiken, except, or you know, water or earth Temtems for that Raiken. He doesn't have any or he does have Toxins for the Koish. He has the Volorant, which would be pretty good. But what Sebo has for the Volorant, he has a lot of physical pressure. That Raiken, that move length, the Koish, that's gonna be able to deal with the Volorant decently well. Of course, Rgisoseles still has answers. The Barnchy really good into move flank, could pretty much kill it with just 2 beta bursts. But I think that Raiken, that Koish might give him some problems. Of course, Grandpa already at +2 speed, so you know, HKS from Grandpa, no Temtem, except if your Nesta, Genki, or Grumper wants to eat those hyperkinetic strikes. But other than that, it's gonna be big damage. Or Saku, apologies. Or if you're Saku of this kind, you can maybe eat those quite well.
You shall not pass is the Saku's objective. What does Bolota mean? Do you know? Is that Spanish for anything? Plus, do you know?
Yeah, I believe he might be Portuguese. I believe it's from Brazil. It sounds a bit Portuguese to me, so I'm not too sure. If anyone has any idea, let us know. But hey, speaking of those fire attempts, Raiken does make an appearance once more, and there it goes. So Rgisoseles, the game plan is he doesn't have any direct answers, but hey, as we said, nothing really wants to eat those heavy hyperkinetics, and Grandpa headed in that direction, +4 speed onto himself, getting there. And hey, it is the sweatband user, so able to just keep outputting pressure. As long as it's able to stay healthy, it's gonna be able to stay healthy in that stamina department as well. So it's definitely not out by any means. Just those opening turns felt a bit rough for him, but I think it's still relatively even. But I mean, look at the health differential, everything's feeling pretty healthy. But a lot of setups here and there. So Kinu +2, Gramps +4. Nagai's got that Kinu buff there. Volorant looking pretty good with that +2, +3. And on the other side, of course, we've been seeing it, the tail of the take for this game, it is going to be that buff to Saku game plan, as we've seen so many times in the previous matches.
As mentioned, hyper kill strike on lock, and it will be thrown down onto the Raiken spot. The Kinu is here, and look at that damage. The +1 special defense really helping, and the Noxious Bomb thrown down onto the Raiken. This does very minimal damage to follow. So the HKS nullified a little bit. The Quetzalero trade does not favor RG at all. The Grandpa taking severe damage from that Leno.
Yeah, pretty big damage. Of course, He kind of wants that physical damage onto Valorant too, but he still has the other two physical hitters, right? Move, flank, and course. So I guess kill the grandpa. Who's the fastest time on the board with those heavy hyper kill strikes, as you say. It's a good game plan. One more Quetzaleno plus the Toxic Tick, I dare say, should be enough. I didn't catch an eye exactly the damage, but it felt somewhere reasonable in that range. The only thing to stop him though, Grandpa and Volderen, they're both faster than Raiken, so I think another hit, a doubled up from both of these Tems should be enough. So Raiken might not be able. The only thing stopping or foiling that plan, potentially a neutral swap in and make it 3 prio, but at +4, you're never beating the Grandpa. Volderen at +2, yeah, you're probably not beating the Volderen as well. So I think Raiken maybe going out here if it doesn't swap, but I'm curious to see what goes down. What does the Kinu want to do though?
Yeah, I mean, well, the Kinu for the side of Cebolinha is not threatened whatsoever. It is all about that left-hand side. The Loda gonna be swapping. Ay, this is going to suck if all the damage was going into that Raiken spot. And it actually puts Hypnosis on the Saku. That's not a bad choice. That's not a bad drop. Removes an offensive or a defensive Tem from the field. The Kinu takes a bit of damage. Beta Burst to follow, though. And this Grandpa, that's very little damage in the grand scheme of things, but the Toxic Tick doesn't secure the kill, just barely.
Yeah, it's probably 1 or 2 HP, most likely 2 HP, barely surviving. And you know what that enables the Grandpa to do? Another hyperkinetic strike that is online. So Kinu not feeling safe whatsoever, and honestly anything in that slot. So either Kinu goes down, Raiken gonna take a heavy hit, or anything of the like will take a big hit. So Grandpa could go down here, but hey, he could retreat and save a big HKS, but I don't know if it's worth keeping it for the back line. Kinu has been the enabler this whole time. Maybe the deed is done against his Kinu. However, if Kinu has a sacrifice, that's gonna make a big difference as well. So I think you maybe have to get rid of Kinu before something like that occurs. But of course, I think a Noxious Bomb alone could kill / outspeed. So I guess you could retreat, but no, Volderen's gonna be the one to retreat here.
Barnsey swapped in here for the first time. Raiken also comes suit to follow. And HKS is thrown down. The Grandpa trying to eliminate the Raiken and will succeed for sure. Gets a Raiken kill. Solid. One step for man and one giant leap for mankind and all that. Saku, full HP still.
There we go. So Raiken brought down, and Kinu doing Kinu things. Saku literally getting out of hand. Biggest headache in Rgisoseles' eyes. Oh man, I think even with a Quetzal user, the Saku was still overcome it. +5 defense, +3 special defense. Maybe the Voleren, the 1v1, but with Lifeful Sap, potentially if there was like a handcuff or something on Barnsey to stop the Lifeful Sap from occurring with the EM, maybe that's a way to do this. And you know what, Grandpa did survive, so you could try to retreat, maybe come in on the entry, get that HKS one more time since you have it in on the swap, and that could be a decent play follow-up. But for now, these guys are looking good so far. However, as we keep saying, Saku doesn't really have too much, but you know, Saku, the game plan for him is kind of just sit back, Toxic Spores to the left, Toxic Spores to the right, and then just out heal the damage coming into you. I think that's the win condition for Sebo here. The problem is, I believe this Barnsey's neutrality, so you're not going to be able to get that off.
Absolutely. As you would say, sit back, relax, keep driving real smooth. The Voleren will be swapped in here. Of course, for that Grandpa, incredibly low, and the Revitalize follows suit, and the double nature struggle continues. Tornado will be thrown out. The Kinu, I mean, back to square one, you go. Windburst thrown out, does 8% damage, which is kind of incredibly bad, but slow and steady wins the race in this scenario.
Yeah, Argus still has a revitalized target of his own too, so even if some HP gets low, he's able to recover if you're able to maneuver that around like so. But yeah, a slow burner. It looks like we're going a bit towards the end game. Just one temp down, which is that grandpa. Almost two temps down, so one apiece in that grandpa. But if grandpa could come in on a swap, he's gonna be big value for Argus. So I know he wants to squeeze it in somewhere. Maybe after one of these temps OX, and you know for a fact the temp's not attacking in there. You never know for 100% facts, but you know your gut feeling is telling you that. But I was gonna say, it was always a slow burner when no tem does super effective damage into each other except the Volerin. And you know, Argus had the game plan of going into Saku this whole time. I think he's got, you know, reevaluated that, and is tending to go into this right slot instead of Saku, which I believe is gonna help him out a lot, because Saku might be able to recover all that in the long run.
I mean, for the most part, Rgisoseles, technically, if the game ended right now, would win the win on terms of Temtem. Cebolinha is not killing enough Temtems. The quota has not been met for him, so needs to pick up the pace, and this is exactly what the swap is for. Moflank coming in here, hoping a Beta Burst won't follow on that slot, so the Hurry Ward gonna make sure that the Goring will be immediately available into that Volerin spot. Noxious Bomb thrown out. Will do significant damage, of course, but it goes on the Moflank, as mentioned. And the Beta Burst to follow. If this goes on the Moflank, this is going to be painful. And it is. The Moflank now out of commission, theoretically. Hypoxia should shut it down. Or a simple Toxic Plume should kill it now. The Volerin, of course, still has that available, so yeah. Unfortunate swap circumstance.
You know, and a very interesting decision, because you've seen Rgisoseles have the tendency of ignore the Saku, go into that right slot, and you don't know for a fact, but you have a bit of an idea. He's kind of tending to ignore the Saku, as we keep saying, so you knew there was a good chance of a Beta Burst coming that slot. I feel like you had to put the move flank in the Saku slot if you wanted to come in safe. But I mean, move flank into Barnchy never feels too good. But hey, Sebo seeing that now, and of course hindsight always 2020 in the end game. But you know what, I think Sebo was doing that play thinking Barnchy was maybe gonna swap out. Perhaps that's the only way I could see that, because you definitely didn't want to bring move flank into that mental Barnchy. But maybe he was just trying to make a different read, not going his way for that particular play.
I think secure the safe play and just FG the Moflank. You don't want a Quetzaleno to just do a ungodly amount of damage. So can you swap out here? So Quetzaleno will do less damage. We'll see if RG reads that, because the Koish is now getting set up. You may not like that if it goes through in the long term. RG actually swaps out the Barnchy as well. The Naga comes in instead to eat that Quetzaleno if it does follow through. Noxious Bomb thrown out here, and the Kinu is dropped. That's a big kill. Now the Saku doesn't have the infinite loop available. Quetzaleno smackdown on the Volerin has a priority straight set, and the Volerin is that priority. Of course, Volerin, the maximum special defense, the Saku will never do enough damage to shred through that, so understandably so.
Yeah, right, so Kinu does get brought down, so not too bad. Kinu doing huge value all around through this game. So I think Kinu was okay going down there. You know, got a final buff on that Koi's there, so Koi's gonna be a bit harder to bring down, but a couple Noxious Bomb, I believe still 3 to 4, should bring it down. But we'll see. As you said, Blue, Nagais is on the board. Not effective damage, but so is big boy is Saku, and man, he's getting so tanky.
Absolutely, the Saku is the breadwinner here, but I'm not sure if the bread's coming home. Barnchy swapping for the double mental. Is there a second collaborator? No, not really. I don't think Naga wins that, so not quite. But looks like the Koish is actually going to be set up. He wants to make the Indestructo duo, but the Lullaby says no thank you. go to sleep. I want to madness buff my Naga. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but madness buff not possible, only because it would take away your full HP there remaining. So maybe just able to get off one more, or unless you were able to revitalize the course. But yeah, Naga is just gonna be doing good neutral damage, but this Koi's looking tough to deal with as well. So we'll see. As you're saying, a slow burner, only because not a lot of effective damage. Of course, a bit more of a stall game with the Saku game plan. So we'll see. It's a tough turn though, because Saku doesn't do too much. I mean, obviously they're sleeping, but even then the next turn. So let's see what goes down. Saku brought out for move flank. So I think move flank, just a noble sacrifice in the eyes of Sebo. Maybe just trying to lose it. Actually, wait, no, this is pretty genius here. Sebo knows no one's attacking into Saku, so move flank should have a fine time here. But
yeah, they're swapping for move flank. Oh, tornado comes in though on the Koish spot, so correct assessment there. Koish comes in, but has Koish moved yet? No, it hasn't. So Quetzaleno comes through, and that's painful. So good read from the side of Cebolinha. But
that is so crazy. Really 5-head play for Sebo. You knew move flank, no one was attacking the Saku, so move flank would be safe. And Rgisoseles thinking the tornado being 3 prio would go last, but no, Koish with the synergy being the fastest one, aka the slowest one since the Sea Aura was there. Insane stuff. Sebo really good play, doing some good damage onto it. And hey, now it's clear as day. If Quetzaleno went last, it's gonna go first now without the Sea Aura. So another set of attacks onto the Rgisoseles, just like we saw now. And that was Rgisoseles' fastest attack too. It was the tornado. So nothing outspeeds this Koish. Quetzaleno most likely coming out into any slot, gonna be doing big damage. And move flank has a 3 prio goring. Is that enough for, it did 44%. You gotta do what is it, 6%, no, 10%. You gotta do 10% with the goring, and then Quetzaleno does the rest. But the cage, okay, interesting. So move flank just as the sacrifice.
Interesting. He should have known that was neutrality, maybe not revealed. So the Naga just swaps in here, and the beta burst kills the move flank, and that cage a little bit sus, for lack of better terms. Quetzaleno thrown down, one shots the Kinu, of course. So yeah, I would have preferred for a goring or something. But unfortunate there for the side of
maybe didn't think it would get off fast enough. So cage, I mean, gets the Kinu kill, but Kinu looks like it did not want to retreat either or, so still confirms the Kinu. So no revitalize on any side. The only thing is the Saku Lifeful Sap. But this is it, folks. Saku and the Fire Koish against the entirety of Rgisose's team, but not so entire, right? Grandpa all the way down, Rgisose's around half, and the other Temtems a little bit around that same thing. Koish overexerted, so essentially Saku versus the world. Can he get it done? Toxic Spores, that is a start that's gonna essentially kill the Nagas in the next couple turns.
Noxious Bomb throw out, however, and Psysurge is still available. The Koish so close to death, but the Vulnerant should follow. Lifeful Sap has to be forced here on the Saku in the couple of following turns. Rgisoseles can hold out for life if the Rgisose's has bamboozled, of course.
Yeah, unfortunately for Sebo, he has a lot of stamina to work with, so we'll see if Saku can make the impressive comeback, because Rgisose's has the temp advantage, and usually that tends to be the deal breaker there. But we'll see. I mean, Saku a heavy hitter, but not against the Vulnerant. As we saw, it did about like 8% or something like that, maybe like 10% onto that anaerobic Vulnerant. So it's gonna take so much damage. And then to try to take out the Rawrzyyy too, it might be a really tall task, but I think Saku can maybe do it.
Windburst comes out first and the Naga goes down. That is shocking to say the least. Quetzaleno faster than the Voldren, and that's so big. The Koich overexerts for that, but I don't think he minds. The Voldren takes so much damage that the Saku actually legitimately has a chance to kill the Voldren now.
Yeah, that was actually huge. The only thing doing some damage on the Voldren was a physical attack, just like he did there. So beautiful stuff, Sebo knowing Koich, you're going down. Let's try to go down swinging, and swinging he did. But however, 3 more Temtems remaining, but they're getting low. They're getting low, and Saku doesn't really, he seems to have infinite health pool. It seems so ridiculous sometimes, but he seems to just be full of HP. But here goes. So okay, so trying to play the stamina drain game, energy manipulation, adding that tick of exhaustion.
And the handcuffs as well. Remember, he can abuse this to remove that regeneration, and it does 8%. So 2 more throws should kill the Voldren. So it's up to Cebolinha and stamina management. EM is thrown out. There is no bamboozle in that case. You have to bamboozle the Voldren here to survive this onslaught, but it's not looking like the case. Lifeful Sap is forced out, but that's not going to help. Again, EM's gonna remove this straight up.
Yeah, so I think with that EM, it should be okay, because you could keep EMing and the Saku can't get the heal, and then Voldren could just sit back, Noxious Bomb. Easier said than done with your stamina depleting, of course. So let's see. I think Rgisoseles might have won this. He can't kill both Tems, so Voldren, just a final Windburst, gets the job done. But with EM exhausting him every single turn, he's consuming rather 50% additional stamina with every single attack, and one more attack he's gonna overexert. He's gonna overexert, buy Rgisoseles some time, and we're seeing it little by little. I think Rawrzyyy wins this game.
Noxious Bomb thrown out, the Rawrzyyy with handcuffs pushing up. The Voldren dies for that. Absolutely unfortunate there, but the EM is thrown down. Unfortunately, if the Rawrzyyy was slower than the Saku, then Lifeful Sap would instantly remove that all times, but not the case.
Yeah, so we know Grandpa does not have HKS online, as it was just brought in. It wasn't brought in on the swap, so not the heavy kill blow. So Saku could go into Grandpa, but as we see here, the 1v1, Rawrzyyy is the Saku killer, not letting Saku get those Lifeful Saps it loves so much. So well played. I believe Rgisoseles is going to be going into our semifinals. And hey, he is a previous champion, so maybe looking to do it again. There is some stiff competition waiting for him, but let's see. And there it goes. HK is not online, but Hypnosis is, so I think this is definitely a GG 100%, especially because it's a +5 a +4 HKS awaiting the Saku the next turn.
Yeah, the Saku put to sleep here. The Grandpa is gonna hold on for dear life, but fortunately you can EM rid of the alert, and then you put them into hypnosis. It's the sleep meta all over again, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, only thing, I think +4 speed ends up going first, only because it's so fast. But let's take a look. 31%. Okay. 11% or so.
That's a lot of damage. Yeah, and then ooh, that does 7. So mathematically, Rawrzyyy should win this. But Toxospores, of course, comes in, and if the Grandpa was slow enough that EM went first, then that would be nice. But unfortunately, not the case.
Yeah, and the fact that this is indeed neutrality, there is nothing but well fought, incredibly fought for Cebolinha, but just not enough. The final turn will be this very next one. Lifeful Sap maybe extending it by a single turn, or maybe actually 2 turns, but the inevitable is here. Rawrzyyy is not going to be taking any damage. It's going to be making Saku overexert, and I believe even if it goes to turns, which I don't think we're making it to turns as it stands. So 1 here. Oh, it doesn't do it. It doesn't do it. So wait a minute, 2 more EMs?
Life will stop trying to hold on for dear life, but it's just not enough, especially with out of stamina. Actually you survived 3 turns. Someone pull out a calculator and calculate if this is a net gain or a net loss for the Saku right now.
I think at the end of the day, Sebo could keep doing what he's doing. He's not doing damage on the Barnchy, so he could keep stalling it a bit further. But 56% is always gonna beat that 15-16% he keeps finding himself in. So Barnchy wins this 100% because you see he's trying, he's fighting his hardest. But I think with the simple fact that you're not doing any damage, it is what it is. But hey, I'll give it to Sebo. Valiantly fought and well played. It looks like we're going into the final turn. So impressive matchup. Made Rgisoseles really work for it. But I think Rgis is ecstatic to see this next turn play out. And Beta Burst for the win. GG.
Absolutely well done. The Saku, of course, not as bad as the El Clasico salad, but definitely.